With the Bowman Gray Clash concluded and the Daytona 500 just over a week away, it officially means it's NASCAR season. 2025 ushers in the 4th year of NASCAR's next-gen car, as well as 2 new TV partners, and Amazon Prime and TNT, with the latter partner bringing in a shiny new in-season NASCAR tournament that absolutely nobody is talking about for some reason. Mix that in with the Cup Series' first international race in Mexico City, along with a roster shakeup, and you have yourself the ingredients to an exciting and generational NASCAR season. So with that in mind, let's meet the drivers you'll be watching over the next 38 weeks. Well, you can look at Ross Chastain's season in 2 ways. You can be a Chad and look deep past the stats of his season to expand your mind and see overtime and bad luck derailed his entire campaign, ruining an otherwise solid year where he should have finished top 10 in points. Which is why after looking past the overtime bad luck in 2024, I've come to the conclusion that Chastain will win multiple races in 2025 and be a threat to make the Final Four at Phoenix as the flagship Trackhouse driver. For real, what does Austin Cindric even do? I understand he won at Gateway last year and made it to the round of 12, but Ryan Blaney got robbed by running out of fuel, and he only snuck into the round of 12 by just not being an idiot for the first 3 races, which hit another disappointing season driving for the top 4 team in NASCAR. Cindric's goal for 2025 should be to spend more time in the top 10 and top 15, because now entering his 4th full-time year at Penske, with his rookie season still being far and away his best, the reality of him only getting his ride due to his last name is quickly becoming a thing. As well as teammates have competed for championships every year of his Cup Series tenure, Cindric has struggled to finish in the top 20 in the standings, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. How in the world is Austin Dillon somehow getting worse with the more experience he's getting? After his 11th full-time Cup season, he posted his worst career season, finishing 32nd in points and only managing to beat 2 other full-time cars in the standings. But to give him some credit, he did technically get robbed from a playoff berth by a late caution at Richmond in his best ever race, but the final corner is 100% on him for committing an absolute crime on the 22 and 11 to win. 2025 might be make or break for Dillon, because due to this being his age 35 season, I wouldn't be shocked if he hung up the helmet to pursue the business side of his grandfather's team and let one of Austin Hill or Jesse Love take the seat for 2026. On his 3rd team in his 3rd year in the series, Noah Gragson has yet to show any type of life on track in the Cup Series, which really sucks, because he has a good personality in his interviews. So far, Gragson's Cup highlights include Ross Chastain punching him in the face and getting fired from his ride while in the middle of posting the worst rookie season in history. Later backing it up by getting a Stewart-Haas Racing ride in 2024, but being invisible in the car all year. Gragson this season just needs to be on par with his other Front Row Motorsports teammates in the stats department. As with all of them having virtually the same amount of experience in the Cup Series, there should be no reason for him to be lagging behind the 34 and 38 cars. Yeah, he blew that season. Going into Las Vegas and Homestead during the most important races of the year, while at his best tracks, and not walking away with a top 10 in either is so Larson-coded it's unreal. There's really not much to say for Larson in 2025, as it's the same thing every year. Anything outside of a championship should be considered an L year for the 5 team. And I don't care how OP Penske is at Phoenix, it's been 6 races with a next-gen car there for Hendrick. At some point you have to figure it out. Larson is obviously once again the championship favorite for 2025, and not much can change that. But with NASCAR's new schedule adding Talladega into the round of 8, if he doesn't have a massive cushion entering the race, it could be a disaster for him considering his history there. If your favorite driver, or a loved one's favorite driver, has been crashed by Brad Keselowski's inability to push, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Subscribe to this channel for support. Anyways, Keselowski finally won for the first time since the 2021 Spring Talladega race, thanks to a Tyler Reddick disaster class on his teammate. But the team regressed heavily in the second half of the campaign, seeing him collect just 2 of the season's 7 top 5s after the 18th race of the year, with one of them coming at Talladega. The question for 2025 is if we see the first half 6 car or the second half. However, with the team acquiring a 3rd charter and added sponsorship from Kroger, I see no reason why Keselowski can't compete for wins this season and make a deep playoff run. Spire Motorsports poached Justin Haley from the dangerous confines of Rick Rare Racing in the middle of the season, and all they had to do was drop Corey LaJoie, making it the most lopsided deal in motorsports history. To make things even sweeter for Haley, he joined in during an era where the team was working hard to solidify themselves as a top Chevy team, now getting Hendrick support, and with them also having many wealthy investors backing them, the sky's the limit for Spire. As for Justin Haley in 2025, he's getting partnered up with a top crew chief in the garage in Roddy Childress, the same man who was on top of the pit boxer every year of Kevin Harvick's SHR tenure. And with Haley already having multiple top 10 runs on pace alone driving for Rick Ware Racing, the huge upgrade should come with a breakout season for him. You know, if you asked me, Kyle Busch going to RCR always seemed like a bad move, but who knows what his options actually were. Anyways, 2024 was the biggest 36 race disaster Kyle Busch has ever gone through in the Cup Series. He couldn't finish races, he couldn't win races, he couldn't make the playoffs, he couldn't run up front, and he couldn't even beat Harrison Burton for a win. Don't care what track it is. For 2025, Kyle Busch needs to forget 2024 was a thing, and simply, just win a race, man. And to the viewers at home, don't be shocked when it's the Daytona 500 who wins. Kyle Larson and William Byron may be doing all the winning lately at Hendrick, but at the bare minimum Chase Elliott did also return to victory lane, and was as consistent as ever before. Having only 2 DNFs on the season, while even posting his second best average finish in the Cup Series in his career. Simply put, for this season to be considered a success for Elliott, he needs to find victory lane more than one time, and honestly make the Final Four, something he hasn't done since all the way back in 2022. If I had to guess, RCR had something to do with Ty Dillon getting this ride, because through his nearly 15-year-long NASCAR career, he has never once showed he deserves a NASCAR seat in general, and it's a complete shock he got this ride in the first place. Ty Dillon has been doing absolutely nothing in his NASCAR career for the past decade, yet got handed another full-time NASCAR ride over literally anyone else. I mean, the guy got outpaced in the same truck by Dawson Sutton, with 2 starts in NASCAR last year, and we're still giving him rides. He's winning Talladega. Denny Hamlin might be cooked following the loss of crew chief Chris Gabehart, the same man who came aboard the sinking 11 ship before 2019 and saved that race team, also probably extending Denny Hamlin's prime. Taking over on top of the pit box is Chris Gale, and as a Ty Gibbs fan who dealt with him as crew chief last year, the only thing I can say is good luck. I truly wouldn't be shocked if he won like 10 races this year. The only question for Denny Hamlin is if he's capable of winning the championship in 2025, and to that I say, sure, why not? Ryan Blaney was just 15 NASCAR meetings on dirty air away from being able to pass Joey Logano and win back-to-back championships last year. And with that, it officially solidified one fact. If you're a Penske car, all you have to do is sneak your way through the playoffs, into the Final Four at Phoenix, and you will have a near 100% chance at walking out of that track with a championship trophy. In 2025, Blaney should strive to be more consistent throughout the year, as although he finished runner-up in the standings, he still DNF'd a whopping 7 times, which is only going to hinder him getting playoff points in the regular season if he keeps it up.
That was a close one! Welcome back!
After swapping back to the Xfinity Series full-time for 2024, AJ Allmendinger is once again back to full-time in the Cup Series, and as is the case for every season in the Cup Series for him, his strengths are going to come at the road courses throughout the year. Can he win at one of those road courses though is the question, as with SVG now moving to full-time, along with more and more Cup drivers improving their skills, it'll be tougher than ever before for AJ. 2024 was a punch in the face to Chris Buescher and fans that no one should have to go through. Losing in the closest finish in Cup Series history, that's rough. Losing the next week because Tyler Reddick cannonballed it in with 9 to go is devastating. But mixing all that in with missing the playoffs, just barely on points because of all that, was cruel. Luckily, he'd immediately win a few weeks later at Watkins Glen, besting SVG in the process. Expect another strong and consistent campaign out of the 17 car in 2025, much like the season he put together in 2023. Congratulations, Chase Briscoe. You won a better ride for being the only Stewart-Haas racing driver who managed to win a race last year. With this prize, you move straight to Joe Gibbs Racing driving in the 19 car, with a full 36 race sponsorship from Bass Pro Shops to sweeten the deal. Nevertheless, Briscoe has never been in top equipment in the Cup Series, so in 2025 there aren't really any expectations outside of winning a race and at least looking like you belong on the team. This is a life lesson that sometimes cheating does pay off. The Chevy teams manipulated the Final Four cutoff race at Martinsville to hell and back 4 times over, and still it was Christopher Bell who suffered the fallout for wall riding. This all came just 2 weeks after he should have locked himself in the Final Four at Vegas, but lost to Joey Logano pulling a fuel mileage win out of his magic bag of Mickey Mouse wins. Bell comes into 2025 as a strong title favorite, and with each passing year he gets better and better as a driver. Therefore, I wouldn't be shocked if it was Christopher Bell who managed to take down the Penske cars at Phoenix in November and bring an end to their reign of terror. Wood Brothers Racing finally got tired of Harrison Burton, so they kicked him out in favor of the Stewart-Haas Racing refugee Josh Berry, who showed flashes of potential in the 4-car throughout the season, but never managed to string any of these races together. As for every top 3 run, an impressive move, there were 3 times as many 25th place runs and dumb mistakes waiting to happen. Throughout the entire next-gen era, the 21 has been one of the worst full-time cars in the series, even with massive support from Penske, the same team who's dominated in this era. So for 2025, we're truly going to see if Wood Brothers Racing is the problem, or if Harrison Burton was just that bad in the series. My guess though, it was the latter. I mean, they really just let anyone back into titles these days, so let's lay this out. Guy runs 17th all year, makes the playoffs due to an overtime restart, backs into the round of 8 off an Alex Bowman DQ, sneaks into the Final Four with a fuel mileage win, and then waltzes into a title. Classic Joey Logano. Luckily, we're in an odd year, so the nonsense should be far behind us for 2025. I'm feeling a winless season this year out of the 22 car. I mean, at some point you have to break out, man. Teammate Tyler Reddick joined the team 2 years ago and immediately began beating him week in and week out and hasn't stopped since. I'm truly on my knees for Bubba Wallace to win a race in 2025. I mean, he has the talent and speed to do it, but just simply needs to finish it out. Ideally, a perfect scenario for his season is an early win in the first 6 to 8 races to take any playoff pressure off, something he's had his entire career at 23XI Racing. I'm calling that season a regression, cutting his win total in half, failing to win after the 8th race of the year, stepping back from the best driver in the series to around a 5th to 6th place car, and sneaking into the championship race because, well, Hendrick. In 2025, the team should strive to make themselves better throughout the summer months, because the second Fox is not the TV provider, it's usually when the 24 car runs out of steam. Moving over from the 34 to the 38, NASCAR's Mendoza-line Todd Gilliland will continue to look to be average. I don't know, man. I'm praying on you, Todd. I really do think you have the talent to be good. Look alive out there, man. Who the fuck gave Riley Herbst the top Toyota Cup ride? Did Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan really need a third car that bad? And if so, I'd love to know what drivers they turned down to get Riley Herbst this seat, along with the type of money he brings with Monster Energy. 2025 has all the makings of a disaster season, but I truly wouldn't be shocked if he just ran between 15th and 20th all year and somehow lucked into a win. Driving the 71 for Spire Motorsports in 2024, Zane Smith was truly a joke for 18 races. But then something strange happened, and he was much better in the second half of the season. Anyways, on a side note, Trackhouse is lame for what they did to Zane Smith. Signing him as a driver, then dropping him to keep Daniel Suarez of all people is a nasty move. Luckily, instead of having to go back down to the Truck Series, Zane Smith was awarded the 38 car in the midst of Front Row Motorsports expansion. And if I had to bet, I'd put my money on Zane Smith being the best driver out of the bunch. After 2 years in the Xfinity Series where he captured his first title, along with 5 wins, Cole Custer is back in the Cup Series for a new team. I think. It depends, I guess. Anyways, Haas Factory Team, yes that's the name, kept one of the Stewart-Haas Racing charters and teamed up with Roush Fenway Keselowski to field a full-time ride for Custer in the series. However, I can't say I think they'll be competitive, but time will tell. Will they be an absolute joke? No, probably not. Will they be a threat for race wins and fight for the playoffs? Also, no, probably not. If you ever feel like you've wasted years of your time, let me regale you on the tale of John Hunter Nemechek. Imagine you want a top NASCAR ride. but you snuck into the Cup Series too early, driving for a backmarker team. You don't like running in the back, with no hope of earning that future JGR or Hendrick ride, so you're left with two options: stay in the top echelon of American motorsports and run in bad equipment, or drop down to the lowest tier NASCAR series in the best ride that they have to offer, or retire. So you have three options. Anyways, Nemechek took door number 2, and worked his way through the Truck and Xfinity series as a Joe Gibbs racing driver, only to make it to the Cup Series and put together a god-awful season. Which puts us to where we are now. I can't say I expect things to turn around for the team, but stranger things have happened in NASCAR. 2024 was absolutely brutal for Erik Jones. It started off with promise at Phoenix, as he looked like a top 5 car all day until problems relegated him to a 31st place run. And after that, the veil of being a Toyota car was lifted. The team failed to finish in the top 10 on a non-super speedway all season, and to make matters even worse for Jones, he'd be sidelined due to injury during the Spring Talladega race after crashing while running in a single-file pack with just Toyotas. I truly am rooting for an Erik Jones resurgence in 2025, because he does have the talent to be a winning driver. I mean, look at 2022 Darlington. But currently he hasn't been given the equipment that could give him a shot to win, and I hope that changes. Well, that was disappointing. Tyler Reddick dominated the regular season, going on to win the championship for it, and even won his way into the Final Four at Homestead with an insane last lap move just 1 week after rolling through the Las Vegas grass. However, none of it mattered, as Reddick absolutely folded in Phoenix and never had the car or chance to compete with his fellow championship drivers. For 2025, Reddick is on a list with a small group of drivers, where anything outside of a championship and multiple race wins would be a disappointment for him. And personally, I'd be shocked if he didn't seem like a favorite throughout the whole season. Stenhouse returned to victory lane for the second year in a row in 2024. It may have been at a super speedway once again, but winning at those types of tracks are quickly becoming the only thing he's useful for in the series, or punching Kyle Busch, given the current state of his equipment. So with that in mind, I think Stenhouse will most likely be a threat at the 6 super speedway events in 2025, and probably 1 or 2 random races, where you'll see him running between 2nd and 5th all day, as he usually has one of those races per year. And who knows, maybe he wins that race this time. Believe it or not, 2025 is going to be Alex Bowman's 8th full-time year at NASCAR's premier team in Hendrick Motorsports, and at this point, I don't think the breakout's coming. It seems Alex Bowman is destined to always win once or twice a year and go on to finish between 5th and 10th in the standings. Not bad by any means, but when you compare it to his teammates, who have all spent multiple seasons as championship threats, you can only wonder how long Rick Hendrick will let him keep his ride, before replacing him with a younger option with more of a ceiling than Alex Bowman.
In that familiar blue and yellow Napa machine, somebody's in the wall! The 54 of Ty Gibbs, he had an issue in the middle of 3 and 4, I couldn't tell what it was.
That sums up Ty Gibbs' sophomore season pretty well. The first half was impressive, running in the top 5 more often than not, and looking like a veteran on the track. Then JDR's mechanical woes, and Ty Gibbs looking burnt out following the 2-week break in the summer, led to a disappointing playoff performance out of him, seeing him quickly be eliminated in the first round. For 2025, Chris Gale is out from on top of the pit box in favor of Tyler Allen, who earned a promotion from the Xfinity Series after winning 8 times last year on the 20 pit box. Ty Gibbs truly just needs to win 1 time, and if he does it this year, I don't know, man, we'll get him in 2026. I mean, he can't get fired, he drives for Joe Gibbs, his name is on the building, so we got time. This is Ryan Preece's last chance to prove he belongs in the Cup Series. Ever since he showed up to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2017 and immediately began winning after years in backmarker equipment, fans have been clamoring about Preece's talent, but it just hasn't shown. He was virtually non-existent in the JTG cars, and at Stewart-Haas Racing he truly was only known for his 2023 flip. So with Stewart-Haas shutting down, he'll transition over into the new RFK 60 team as a teammate to Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski, and seemingly what is his last chance to prove he can compete in the Cup Series. I'd expect a determined and aggressive season out of Ryan Preece to show he can win in the equipment he's driving, and don't be shocked if he eventually does win. In what I consider the shock of the 2025 season, longtime Front Row Motorsports driver Michael McDowell left the team concluding his 2024 season, taking his crew chief of the past 2 seasons and Travis Peterson with him. The move is an interesting one, as McDowell had slowly been helping Front Row Motorsports rise since he joined in 2018, even winning on a non-superspeedway off pure pace at the Brickyard Roval in 2023. The team he joined in Spire Motorsports is essentially Chevy's version of Front Row, a backmarker team that is just now starting to receive better technical support from its manufacturer. Only time will tell if this is a good move to jump ship or not. However, I personally don't see this as a good move for McDowell's longevity in the series, especially considering Spire's stacked pipeline of drivers. The third and final Spire Motorsports driver to be featured on this video is the one I think is most capable of breaking out and winning. Hocevar's 2024 went about as well as they could have hoped for the team. Massive improvements during the second half of the season, multiple solid runs to show he could compete in the Cup Series, and he even won Rookie of the Year over teammate Zan Smith by a landslide. If Hocevar can continue to build on the success during the second half of the season, and get into less petty on-track incidents, then there's no reason he shouldn't be the best performing Spire car, and even a playoff contender if the stars align. SVG graduated up to the Cup Series full-time from the Xfinity Series after capturing 3 wins last year, all coming at road courses, leaving him with the simple goals in 2025 of winning a road course race and making the playoffs, while also continuing to learn on the ovals. To help him do this, there's 5 regular season road courses for him to win at, and barring 5 crashes or mechanical failures, I'd be shocked if he didn't win at least one of them, especially the Chicago Street Race, or NASCAR's newest track in Mexico City. SVG's move to the Cup Series comes with the return of sponsor Red Bull into NASCAR for 5 races this season, and a future heated battle for Rookie of the Year with Riley Herbst, which I'd expect SVG to walk away with. Daniel Suarez won his first oval race, and NASCAR's greatest finish in history, then proceeded to do absolutely nothing for 34 races, virtually posting the exact same season as he ran in 2023. One can only wonder how many more chances Daniel Suarez will have in the 99 car, as every year Trackhouse continues to grow and gain prospects in the ranks. Suarez dodged the bullet that was Zane Smith last year by Smith going to Front Row, but with Connor Zillett set for a full-time Xfinity campaign with Junior Motorsports this season, while being scheduled for his Cup debut at COTA before he even turns 19, I really can't see Daniel Suarez lasting much longer without an insane 2025 season. And that concludes the beginner's guide to the 2025 NASCAR season, leaving with just my 2 predictions left on the Daytona 500 winner and the eventual champion. And that'll do it for the video. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.